Hi everyone, it's your favorite baker Rahel, and this is your favorite baking show, Everybody Can Bake. Today the theme for our show is family, and guess who I have here with me? My dad, and he goes by the name Mr. David Lankai Lamptey. Well, I believe everybody can bake. Do you believe everybody can bake? Let's test that theory. Stay tuned. My dad. Hello. Welcome, Dad.
Thank you.
Do you think you can bake?
Well, everybody can bake.
Well, let's test that theory. So, one funny fact, my dad is my twin. Like, we actually look alike. And I'm so proud I look like my dad because just look at my dad. And so today, we are going to be making memories. And so, we are going to be baking butterbread cake. Are you up for the test? Do you think?
Well, yeah, I used to bake achomo. Do you know achomo?
Yes,
well, anyway,
I know achomo.
We'll try and see. Yeah.
Okay, so let's bake that cake. So for our recipe, we have 200 grams of flour, 100 grams of sugar, 100 grams of oil, 100 grams of butter, a slice of bread, 4 eggs, 1/4 cup of milk. Don't forget to add a pinch of baking soda.
Okay.
So we are ready. So first of all, we'll be using 3 of our ingredients. We'll be using butter, sugar, and oil. So bake that cake. I just want to see your skills. So Dad, how has life been? How is everything?
Well, topsy-turvy. It's not been smooth, but you know, life is like being at the sea and see how the waves go. Yeah, but you just have to be strong. That's when you can move through.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about yourself whilst you are baking?
Well, I think you knew me from a certain time, but some of the periods you may not know because you were just being born or you were just a little kid. Okay.
Yes.
Well, when I was young, okay, I was the favorite of my mom. My mom just loved me, so I'm always very close to my mom, and I used to be a bit sarcastic.
Let me help you.
A bit sarcastic because more often than not, and my mother loved listening to me, okay? So I went to school, I went to what they normally call the Saito. Then from there, I sat for what they call the common entrance and then entered secondary school. Okay. So I went to Bleo, Accra Academy. Okay. So I was there for 5 years, wrote my, what they normally call O-levels, which is ordinary certificate. Then I proceeded to write my A-levels, and then thereafter I entered the university to do a management course. After that, I got a job with Rotmans International, which was selling cigarettes, okay? So you see, but I learned a lot of things from there because they offered a lot of training. They offered me a lot of training. Thereafter, I moved to Kina Pharma where I sold, somebody would say drugs, but I sold medicine. Okay. Then thereafter, I had a job at Accra Brewery where I spent a lot of years, almost 14 years in Accra Brewery. Then Guinness poached me from Accra Brewery. Then I went to Guinness and I worked for another 6 years. Okay. Then I decided that enough is enough because before then I've always been thinking of becoming a consultant. It's not been easy being a consultant, but I know that like entrepreneurs would have it, the starting is not that smooth.
What inspired your career choice? Because it looks like you have the same pattern of work and experience.
Well, like I said, I was very close to my mom. My mom was a vivacious and astute trader. Okay, okay? Even though she didn't have any significant formal education. She could only complete basic schools, all right? But she could do a lot of business, and she would only take advantage of anything. She could sell from bananas right through fish and charcoal. Anything that offers an opportunity for business. So when we say an entrepreneur, she was one of them. So my mom would always take advantage of our free periods, okay? So that we go out there and trade. And even though she didn't have any formal education, she knew how to build a sales opportunity and then get people to also be happy selling, okay? So she set up, she will call you, she will give you a target, go and sell these things. When you are able to achieve this, I'll give you that. And obviously, as a child, you always want money to do things. And I always go out there and ensure that I achieve my targets. And she would give you instant reward when you have achieved your targets. I was selling charcoal. I sold everything.
Hey, you sold charcoal?
Yeah, I sold charcoal because my mother sold charcoal, and she will set incentives for you. And then when she comes back and she sees you have been able to sell those quantities she asked you to sell, then obviously she will give you instant reward. So over time, I think I generated a bit of interest in there in terms of selling, because then I would do these, local traditional toys and sell to friends. Okay. Then thereafter, when I completed secondary school, I entered the university and I did management. So whilst in school, whilst doing management, you do a little bit of marketing. Okay. And within the marketing, there was sales management. So what happened? There was this sales management lecturer who came in, and he was so interesting. Okay, and I fell in love. So then he introduced us to a book which I vividly remember. And that book, the writers were Steele and Candle. It was a sales management book. And that book taught me a lot about sales. And I practiced it amongst my friends, because when I have something and I want to sell to them, I use some of the theories that I've learned from Steele and Candle, and I was able to sell. Immediately after, I wrote a number of applications, okay, wanting to be a salesperson, because before I entered the university, I had three things in my head: either to be an architect, to be a lawyer, or to be a salesperson. But obviously, before I entered, I thought you only go and do marketing. But it was until I met that sales management lecturer. And then when I came out, then I wrote a few applications, and I got an opportunity to work with Rotmans International. And there we were giving a lot of training, which raised my appetite to still follow that course, because it was very interesting. And then when I started meeting customers and the varied characters of the customers and the way we were taught to handle them created a certain excitement in me. Okay, so then I realized that, wow, Charlie, this is where I would love to be, because I always wanted to go out there, meet people, make friends, and out of that, so I could say that the initial appetite came from the way I was with my mom and the kind of things that my mom did, okay, in terms of selling everything, and then also setting targets for us and we achieving and making incentives. And then when I started a sales job as well too, I went to see the same incentive thing, okay, because Rockmans was all about sell and get incentive, and I was achieving my targets and I was getting the incentive. So that interest kept growing, and that's why I stayed within sales for a very long time.
So my dad is Mama Ba, as you can see. My dad is Mama Ba.
No, I was both Mama and Daddy, but because our daddy was always on the go, okay, I spent a lot more time with my mom. But when my daddy comes back home to, because I was more like his lapor man. When they say somebody is lapor, I give you I give him the gist and the happenings in the home. So the moment he enters, he will also call me, you understand? And one thing I normally will do is that when I believe I've done something wrong and my other siblings will report me, I'd rather go and report you first, so that when you go, it is more like equalization. So my dad will think that, no, you are just coming to equalize. I'll make, because he will call me first, yeah. So that's it.
So I think when you were talking, you mentioned something about customers, and then now most of us we want to be we are entrepreneurs, and we come across different types of customers, and sometimes dealing with them is not easy. Like, because of that, because sometimes I feel like not doing this whole thing again. So can you briefly tell us a little bit about the customers you met and how you classify them, and how we can also interact with them to have a successful transaction and all that, so that it doesn't become very difficult to relate with people?
Okay. So if I got your question well, you want to know how we dealt with the varied customers. Yeah. First of all, you must understand that customers are like us. Okay. We are all human beings. We have different characters, different needs, different approach to the things that we do. Okay. Now, but because of the way people behave, and because they don't behave like us, we always call them as difficult people. The same way, if you take it to the customer classification, you will think that some people are difficult and some people are not. Okay, because you want somebody, any person who is selling would want somebody that he introduced the thing to, and immediately the person says, give it to me. Okay, but it doesn't happen like that. And I've always said, based on my experience, I've realized that those who rather we call difficult are the people who end up giving you the best purchase. Okay, now let me talk about just about 4 types of customers. And I'm sure when I start, you will begin to understand that when you classify customers, or you are able to identify who that type of customer is, then it will help you to act. So I'll first of all talk about the people we call dictatorial. These are people who want to dictate to you. They want to intimidate you. So the moment they call you, they come up like they know what they want. They are intimidating you. They are asking questions, and sometimes some of the questions they ask are derogatory. It sounds insulting.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, the moment those people come, just say that they want to test your patience. The moment they call you, they will want to show to you that they know what they want, and they will intimidate you. And when you are even trying to describe to them some of the things you have, or what you can do for them, they make you feel like they already know what they are talking about. And eventually, when you don't take care and you give them exactly what you think they want, then they tell you that is not what they ordered for.
But they said they want this.
Because they are not sure. They just want. In fact, they have what they call the power complex. Those are the people who have power complex. They want to show you that they already know.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Now, with those kind of people, in dealing with them, sometimes it's a bit dicey. Okay. However, you need to listen. You keep calm and you listen to them. Okay. And then you don't also talk as if they don't know what they are talking about. You rather use what we call questioning and listening. You understand? You make sure they feel like you are listening to them. And then when at a point, then you let them pause. And then you ask probing questions. Okay? You ask questions to understand what their real need is. And then when you finish, then you ask them to hold, so that you summarize the conversation you have had. that in that case, you'll be able to give them what they really need, okay? And then you will not miss that sale. But sometimes when you look at these people, they are troublesome, and then you don't want a situation where you will listen to what they are saying because you think that they don't know what they want. Then that is where you have a problem. Okay.
Usually when I meet such customers like this, it's not like I don't want to listen, but I will ignore them. Like I would just not reply that particular message because their message alone can make me sad the whole day. So I won't even open the message. I'm serious. Like I'll just pretend as if I never saw the message, and then I'll just let that other go because
a salesperson, and when I say a salesperson, anybody who has a product to sell is like, I mean, since you are a Christian, I'll say it's like a pastor. You understand? Your church members will come to you with certain issues, and some of them would even think that you are not helping the church and that you are only collecting money and chopping. Would you say, go away, Satan?
No.
Fantastic. And like I said, those that you think that you ignore are the people who are coming to give you your best order. Okay, so the first thing, if you realize that this is a dictatorial customer, what you do is that you pause. When you give you, then you identify certain areas that will keep you to feel like you are morose the whole day. Okay, and then you ask questions around that. Did you say that you want the cake with A, B, and C? Okay. Then you say, oh, no, that's not what I mean. Okay, relax. You please help me so I can be able to do the best for you. You see, the way you approach, even when he's coming with attacking questions and you are going politely, I'm sure every human being then will calm down, okay, and then now listen to you. But if you go like, listen to me, you are also becoming intimidating. Yeah. And then that is where the problem comes from. But when you listen to the person and you use questions and answers to try to understand the real need of the customer, the next time he's calling you, the next time he will even introduce you to other people as well. Okay? And then before you realize, oh, so and so, and you're like, really? You understand? Then there are these people also. There is the hostile customer. Okay, and with this kind of business you are doing, these hostile customers could come from a situation where maybe you have done something to somebody, it was not handled well, and then the person has spoken to this person that this is how you treated them. Okay, now when the person calls you, he will immediately start insulting you. So there is a difference between the dictatorial and then the hostile customer. The hostile customer is like, what kind of cake did you do for me the last time? I don't want that particular cake. Then he, and me, why am I even coming back to you to come and buy? Please, your cake was bitter. The other thing too is that these people can also destroy you on social media. Okay. Now, assuming you wake up one morning and you are seeing a message, because now you say you are avoiding them and they are catching you up on social media, would you say that you ignore? That would destroy your business entirely. But you come up with a structured approach to answering some of the questions. So you don't hurriedly answer those questions. You take your time. Okay, you take your time and then you structure your answer so that at least the other people who are seeing it will pick it up and say, oh wow, this is somebody to do business with. And then she would also get friends talking to her that, but the person we are lambasting is not like that. You get it? Now, when it comes to the hostile customer, he can also behave like this person. But as for that person, maybe it is because of a grievance. He or she was not happy about something, and that was the reason why the person is giving. So now you only have to take the issue and try to resolve it. If you think it is something that you cannot resolve, you contact with the person. And that is why some people will do money back and all those kind of things, so they can resolve those particular issues. Yeah. You understand? Then the third one that I would like to talk about is the customer that I call over-familiar customer. Over-familiar. And more often than not, we tend to love those people. But sometimes we end up not getting a sale from that person.
It's true.
Because those over-familiar people, the moment they call and they hear your voice, oh, your voice is sweet, oh. Then they start talking about all sorts of things. They can even talk about politics, sports, telenovelas, anything, just to involve you in what they are doing. Before you realize, your credit is getting finished, and they don't care about their credit, though. They just want somebody to chat with. But you see, with such people too, there is a way to deal with them. When they come up at you and you ignore them, you have lost them. Because you start talking, do you love telenovelas? You say, oh yes, I watch this and that and that. That's my favorite. He talks about this more. But in as much as you are chatting, you are looking out for an opportunity to make a sale. Okay, or to conclude the transaction. And then you go like, oh wow, did you see that cake that Solami or somebody gave to this person? Oh, that was a beautiful cake. Do you want something like that? You have brought the person into your cake situation. You understand? Oh yeah. Yes, I want that cake icing, the chocolate icing on top. But can you get that type of candles? You understand? Yeah. Then you say, oh yeah, but that will cost you a little. Oh yeah, I want it. Then then so those are the over-familiar type of people. There are about 7 types of customers. There are some that may walk to you. And those people are the hesitant type of customers. They are very uncertain what they want. You understand? You come across people like that. They are very uncertain. And they are like, I want a bit of chocolate. Oh, no. You see, if the chocolate, you can even put it on top. Or those people really need help. And for those people, you sell to them the real benefits of what your product has, okay? You say, okay, I have this chocolate thing which has this, that, which can help you with this and that. You understand? And then you can even use what we call the third party. So the last time, this person and that person, especially when you know whether the person is being introduced by somebody, you understand? Then you can go like, oh, in fact, the last time this person who you said directed you to me, he bought this one and this was his comment. Okay? And for those kind of people, what will help you is like on social media, when you have followers and they are making comments on certain specific cakes, it helps deal with such customers. I don't know, but there are a lot, and I'm sure we can be talking about some of those customers.